Yo, JUSTPADRIDE Snowboard channel here, and I want to talk about some advanced edge tuning tips, in particular bass bevel. And because it's Sunday and it's such a nice day out there, we're going to start with a little quote from Gantom Stick owner Taro Tamai. An excellent tuner gives the final shape to suit each rider and brings it to life as a board. The last step, tuning, is made possible by using iron, a durable but easy to work material. You can change the side curve, change the maximum width, and even change the position of each. How to grip the edge? How do you release power? It's no exaggeration to say that whether you make the most of the board's basic performance or not, it all depends on tuning. As turns are once again attracting attention, the importance of tuning will likely be reconsidered. Tuning allows you to adjust the behavior of the board to be loose or sharp, and it is not just about gliding quickly, but also how to keep the board under control so that when you step on the accelerator it dashes, when you step on the brake it stops firmly, and you can adjust the load accurately. Does it bend in the direction you want to go when the weight is removed? I think it's for board control. And that is exactly what it's for, board control. So I want to talk to you about bass bevel. When you look at your board like this, from the front, if the base and the edge were all in line with each other, perfectly flat, no bass bevel, the board would be very catchy, very grabby, almost unrideable. To make it possible to actually turn and ride without constantly catching edges, you give each edge a little bit of a bevel. So 1 degree is kind of standard for snowboards, and that's kind of working for most everything. If you're a total park rat and you really never want to catch an edge and you butter a lot and you hit a lot of rails and boxes, people go up to like 3 degrees, or maybe they dull the edge entirely, which I think is a terrible idea. But anyways, the more bevel I give the actual edge, the less it will catch, the later it will engage when I actually try to turn, and the more forgiving the ride is going to become. So, for example, on an alpine race board, people would run a 1/2 degree base bevel, or 0.7 or something like that. And that makes for a board that is like super unforgiving, but also super direct and mega precise. So the reason I'm having this chat here today is because the base bevel, this is kind of what the Gantom Stick talk here suggests, it doesn't have to be the same along the entire edge. If you understand how you want your board to feel and to engage turns, I can potentially make that happen by shaping the steel of your edge. So the rider who owns this beautiful little Endeavor board here appreciates high camber, powerful boards, but he doesn't necessarily like them to be overly grabby in the tips, because his riding style demands a board that, you know, when you're bombing down the hill and you're going for some natural feature, but you do a little speed check, he likes a board that is kind of forgiving to be whipped around. So we decided that instead of turning the whole edge into some unresponsive piece of steel, we're going to go with the tips. And what I'm going to do here is basically, so the profile of the board already gives a little bit of that forgiving type feel. You have a pretty high camber in the center that goes into like a flat section that is maybe about 3 inches long, and that flat section transitions into an early rise section towards the widest point of the board, towards the curve here. So basically the very contact point, which is the part that engages the turn first, is already lifted off the snow, and it already creates a more forgiving kind of feel, which basically makes for what the guy wants, to be able to get the board off edge easily. Emergency stops require this kind of board behavior. So we decided that to increase that kind of feel, but yet keep the main portion of the board pretty sharp and responsive, that I will give the board a different base bevel from the contact point to right where the camber starts under load. So when I push on the board, you can actually see how the front portion of this flat section starts lifting up. So I'm basically moving it all a little bit inwards towards the center of my tune. So what I'm gonna go with is a 1.5 degree base bevel. You would be surprised how big of a difference that makes to go a 0.5 degree more. I'm using these little side cut tuning tools here. That's a base bevel guide, super easy to use. Just a piece of plastic where you insert a file and it gives it the correct angle along the base. And this board is brand new, so I'm assuming it's a 1 degree base bevel, and I'll have to check and verify that. But yeah, basically by doing that, I will give the board tips that don't require detuning. The edge will still be sharp, but because I give it a higher base bevel, the edge will engage later, make it easier to get the board off edge and whip it around into like a stop or a quick speed check. So yeah, if you observe any kinds of particular behaviors of your snowboard that you don't like, it might be the edge tune. Come by, let's have a chat, and I'm happy to do my best to make your board ride the way you need it. See you later.